Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's rendition of the WREPCAST. I'm your host with the most toast to boast with the boat and the... I'm Lucian Barrows, and this thing over here is Low Failure 404. Hi.
Hi. We're sorry.
Howdy. Oh. Bonjour.
Hola.
Konnichiwa. I run out of ideas. So anyway,
Yeah,
hey, what's up,
same here.
guys? We're back again. Beaming right into your brain box. I'm sorry, we don't have any intentions of actually leaving anytime soon. Sucks for you guys. So, anyway, that being said,
Stay well, melt your brain. You know.
Yeah, pretty much.
We can baste our toast with it.
Wait,
no.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure how long this podcast is gonna last. We both actually have things to do. That's why we're kind of, you guys probably won't be able to tell, but usually we do it at night. We do the podcast at nighttime. Today we're doing it a little bit earlier in the day because you have to go to work tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm going over to my mom's place to watch wrestling with my brother and a friend of ours because tonight's a pay-per-view night. So,
Hey, sounds like your night will be maybe more interesting than mine.
a little bit. Curtis is gonna be there, so usually. I'm not gonna lie, we go there to watch pay-per-views and hang out and all that once a month. It's usually just me, my brother, and our friend Curtis. And then more often than not, when a match comes up where it's this is gonna be boring, me and Curtis just walk off and go have a smoke break. So we sometimes in a span of 3 hours of the pay-per-view, we go through half a pack of cigarettes.
Good job. Good job.
Well, Curtis and I, we used to attend Fuel. You
Right.
would attend too. It was a little kind of. I don't even know how to describe a Fuel event. It was kind of a sermon event that they had weekly for college age.
It was basically it was a ministry for young adult college age.
Yeah, and so I've known Curtis for 11 years, and we've been really good friends the entire time. We hit it off instantaneously. So, but we got older, really, and this and that happened, and so neither of us ever really attend Fuel anymore, even though it's still going. But we were the weird dudes anyway, so we're not missing much. But as such, we only get to see each other once. Well, for a while there, it was for a couple of years, we only got to see each other once in a blue moon, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I kind of like that. Thanks to the WWE having the WWE Network out, my brother has it. We get together once a month now to just hang out, shoot the shit, and catch up on what's been going on. So I really do enjoy going to those things. Not, sure my brother's there, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun.
Despite that, they have fun.
Yeah. And tonight's pay-per-view is a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which I don't think you probably actually know what the Hell in a Cell is. The Hell in a Cell
I know what in a cell is.
Well, it's Hell in a Cell.
Oh.
Hell in a Cell. So.
Oh, I thought you said Hell in a Cell. I'm like, I know what in a cell is. No.
Hell in a Cell is... it's a match type, technically, is where it started off. It started off with The Undertaker and... Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was it.
Boy.
Years ago. Years and years. It's been around for oh shit. It's been around since the late 90s, early 2000s, I think.
So, kind of like a cage match.
Yes. However, on a normal cage match, we don't have anything actually square around here.
Not really.
So it's hard to see. Everything's a rectangle. It's not fair. So wrestling ring is normally a square.
Even your head's a rectangle. Oh, wait, no.
I think you need to work on your shapes a bit. So wrestling ring is square on average, generally speaking. And a cage, the normal cage for a cage match normally kind of just comes down just past the ring post and sits snugly on the apron of the cage, pretty much. On the side, just outside the ropes there, pretty much. That's the cage match. A Hell in a Cell. Oh, and there's obviously no top. You climb out to win and all that most of the time, or you pin submission, whatever. A Hell in a Cell is it actually comes down to the floor instead of the actual ring there, and so there's a few feet of space between the actual ring and cage itself, and then there's a top to it. So it's basically
Oh.
there's no escape kind of match.
I may have seen that and went, me.
Well,
Sorry,
you
wrestling
see-
fans.
No, and it's fine. It's understandable. The Hell in a Cell matches, cage matches, wrestling in general, especially WWE, just ain't what it used to be. Ever since Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon, the owner, it's his wife. Ever since she started running for politics, they've been trying to keep a little cleaner than they used to be.
Wait, is this TV politics?
No,
or real
like
politics?
she's actually trying to get into politics.
Oh
And,
God!
and as such,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
No.
she's been trying for a few years now, and as such, Vince and the WWE.
I'm sorry.
trying to keep it
Ever
cleanish.
since Ventura was in office, I just go no.
Hey. Ventura did good things for the state of Minnesota, from what I understand. Like, nobody really complained about it.
No,
So,
he did. I tell you what pissed me off though. When he went ahead and he sued the wife of a dead Marine because the Marine came up and punched him. Really?
That is,
Really?
Well-
I read the article, and it's like he got killed in the line of duty. No, I get it. Okay,
right, yeah.
he came up and he assaulted the guy. I get it. That's fine. Sorry, I'm not. It's food.
He's got nuts in his hand. That's what he does. I didn't even hear about that. I don't watch news ever. So, which is why I'm usually the entertainment guy. That's my thing. Although that is slightly entertaining.
You know, and
punching Jesse the Body Ventura in the face.
right.
Not gonna lie.
But, and the guy goes over, gets killed in line of duty from what I can remember of, the events.
Right.
And he winds up still suing the wife.
Huh.
And it's like, now wait a minute. You could have gone, you know what? She has suffered enough. The guy is dead who assaulted me and dropped it. Oh,
Right.
no. Oh, no. He sued her. Sued her good. I was like, screw you, dude.
That is intense.
That's kind of when I was like, nope.
Yeah, I had no. Well, see, I think he did a great job in politics and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of lost faith in the man after, when he was done with politics. He started doing a show for conspiracy theories, and he was balls deep in believing in every one of them. It's like,
Some of them actually, I was like, oh, okay, but
yeah,
some
but
I
it's
was like, really, you're.
yeah, he kind of went off the deep end there a bit. So kind of,
Yeah, just a little bit.
I lost a little bit of faith in him as a general human being after that point. So,
Oops.
so yeah, it's kind of, but yeah, so Linda and Vince and all them, they're trying to, keep the WWE a little bit cleaner to make her image look better and all that, which kind of blows because I like the old WWE back during the Attitude Era and the Get the F Out era. The Get the F Out era was, when they started getting sued by the World Wildlife Foundation because they were both going as the WWF. Even though the wrestling organization was around first, they were getting sued by the World Wildlife Foundation for using WWF as their moniker. It was bullshit. So eventually the WWE gave up on the whole thing and let the World Wildlife Foundation have it, and that's when they became WWE.
Oh, okay.
And they used that to their advantage at that time, where it was the Get the F Out era. So it was them transitioning from the old WWF stuff to WWE now, and they used that as a basic, call to everything that they were going to be doing from that point on, and making things a little bit more intense with certain stories and a little bit more hardcore matches, and matches just in general being more intense. So the Get the F Out era was a good era. And it came off the heels of the Attitude Era, which was also a great era too. So, but
Now what I want to know is, is Vince McMahon gonna be walking next to his wife, having the bulldog look, because I'm not even gonna pay attention at that point to his wife, I'm gonna laugh at him.
Right, the good old power walk of
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
I call it the bulldog look.
Oh yeah, no, it totally is a bulldog. But
I know a boss that at work he'll do that. Love the guy, he's hilarious. But he'll just get that, and you're just trying not to laugh at him. And it's like, okay, right on.
Yeah, it's like it's some people consider it power walk, like back when Vince probably first started doing it when he appeared, but it's like it just makes him look stupid. Like after a point, it's like, no, that's not a power walk. He looks like an idiot. and I'll admit, because it's like I don't really personally like Vince as a real person kind of thing. The way he does business sometimes is a little too harsh for my liking, and so it's kind of, but yeah, and I think the way the WWE is these days, that they've been making a lot of mistakes with a lot of their superstars or up and comers that have good potential. Like they've taken a guy named Zack Ryder. Now, a couple years ago, he was okay. At one point when he first came in, he was teamed up with somebody, had the tag team titles. I think at one point, him and the other guy, and they were doing good. They didn't get on the microphone much, but they were doing good as a team. And then the team got split up along the way somewhere, and they both went kind of solo. And Zack Ryder, he uses basically what's called a jobber. He's that guy that's there to get his ass kicked. Like he was a tag team champion, I think, and then now he's just a dude that gets his ass kicked. A couple years ago, they used him for a more major gimmick because a couple years ago, Zack Ryder was actually really popular on the internet, not just as a wrestler, but as an internet personality as well. Like he was one of those people that had over 1 million followers on Twitter and shit like that, and it's like, and people love the guy. He was charismatic. He still is. He's an interesting fellow there, but. And he's not a bad wrestler either, and he's got a good athletic look to him, tall, muscular, and all. Not like Batista muscular, but the dude's in good shape.
Looks like a normal person.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
something along those lines, yeah, kind of. But
yeah, but if I'm thinking of the right, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, so but. After one little gimmick that they had him in for that lasted maybe like 2 or 3 months tops, he just went back to being a nobody again. But people love him. But he's still not quite the ideal guy that Vince wants being a champion or anything like that. So he's probably never going to get another chance again. So, like, there's some people where it's like, hey, there was a guy named Christian that's been wrestling since wrestling in and out of the WWE since the late 90s. And he and the wrestler Edge, who's retired now, they were one of the greatest tag teams ever. They held the titles together on, I think it was like 10 separate occasions over the years. And that's a lot, really. I mean, sure, they lost a lot at that point, too. I mean, they had them, but they lost them. But, they were one of the greatest tag teams of all time, in my opinion. They've had some hellacious matches back when wrestling was still really cool and exciting and dangerous and all that stuff. But yeah, Christian, it's like, if Vince had his way, Christian would have never gotten any of, the big world titles. And that was the way it was going for him. No matter how, no matter what they put him in or how hard he was trying in real life, Vince was never going to let him actually have one of those titles. The only reason why he ever got one is because one of his best friend and longtime partner Edge had to retire. Edge retired as the champion. So it was kind of an open thing of this guy, Christian versus this guy kind of thing for the title. And they figured it would be a good way to make the fans happy and pay homage and, soften the blow of, the fact that Edge just had to forcibly retire because if he kept wrestling, he could have ended up paralyzed at any moment from the neck down.
Oh, yeah. You've talked about that before.
Yeah. So instead they gave Christian the title for a month. So, And that's the only reason why I got one. It's the kind of dirty background stuff like that doesn't make me like Vince McMahon as a person that much.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's taken the business to a lot of new places, has come with him and his staff have come with some incredible matches, and and not just like this person versus this person, but match types. Like the Elimination Chamber, like that's just a brutal mess, is what that is. That could like you do something wrong on that one, and you get into career.
Dang.
Yeah. So, but it's just kind of he's just not a good person, really.
Yeah.
But let's not go any more into wrestling because I could go all night.
I know you could.
Literally, and we're a bit restrained on time, as I said earlier.
Yeah, sadly enough.
Yeah.
And we're sure you are too, Just keep in mind that while you're watching on YouTube, your computer is multitask oriented, so you can put us in another tab, or
you can just listen to us while you're doing something else.
There's a reason why we say podcast, because you don't have to always watch us. I run into that a lot at work, because I'll tell people, and as soon as I say YouTube, they're like, well, I don't have time to watch. And I'm like, well, don't watch. Listen.
I mean, that's the thing. We're a podcast, first and foremost. We're here to be listened to. We're not doing anything super fantastical. We're not sitting here doing backflips the entire time we're having a conversation.
Well, no. I mean,
and we're not exactly
thought about it,
And we're not exactly the sexiest motherfuckers to stare at for an hour and a half.
No.
So, I mean, I might be a little bit more because I got boobs, so that's sexy, but not in the right way.
Yeah.
But it's
no.
But yeah. So it's not a matter of actually watching us. Just pop us on in the background and go do something else.
Yeah.
Shit, man. With all the devices that this world has nowadays, it's like you've got your little tablet thing there. You've got phones, and most people have Androids or iPhones these days. So YouTube's on there.
Except that
tablets.
iPhones don't really multitask.
Coffee mugs.
Oh, okay, definitely coffee mugs.
But no, it's like
I can make that multitask.
Yeah, no, it's like if you want to do things on your computer, hey, listen to us on here, on there, whatever. One of these days I think we're planning on trying to actually make it where we can have both an audio and a video, but iTunes is fucking annoying, so we'll deal with that when we really feel like it.
Yeah, well, I like the thing, and like I know how to fix it, but I know how to do it, but the service is not a lot of money, but it's still money.
But it costs money.
And guess what? Guess what? We don't have a lot of. So yeah, not yet anyway. Okay. We're working on it.
Yeah, but that aside, not necessarily on the topic of wrestling, but it can take from the topic of wrestling because it's related in a very vague sense of you've got someone like Batista in Marvel movies now. I wanted to talk about comic book movies in general, which
it makes me happy.
Well, movies and TV shows, really. I've managed to catch up on the third season of Arrow and the first season of Flash so far. Did a little
pretty
bit
good
of
Flash.
Flash is pretty good. I like it. What I didn't realize until I saw another YouTube video talking about it is that have you actually seen the show?
Yeah.
Okay. The guy that plays the Flash's father in the show, if I'm not mistaken, he was the original Flash in the original TV series.
No.
Years ago. So
I didn't even get that.
No, me either. It's like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't realize that there used to be a Flash here. There's a younger generation that didn't know there used to be a Hulk series.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, oh,
and
that's
sad.
sad.
Like the Captain America movies we're seeing nowadays, those are not the first Captain America movies.
No,
I think
not
it was
at
back
all.
in the early 90s. I think there's only one, but I think it was back in the early 90s or late 80s where they had a Captain America movie.
I actually don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember that there is, or was, and...
There was an old Spider-Man movie from the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember watching these things as a kid, because I've always, at least vaguely, if not, well, at the very least vaguely, I've been a comic book fan throughout my entire life. I've loved the X-Men, and, so I used to watch a bunch of old VHSs or watch the old, actual X-Men TV series and all that. And so, it's kind of... I've gotten into it and all that, but I've gotten more into it the past several years, mostly since the actual first X-Men movie came out years ago when we were in junior high.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, when you stop and think about it, it's really been that long. So it's just kind of weird to think junior high, man. We're both 30 now, and we were 12 then, and that was when the first one came out. And dear God, Hugh Jackman does not age for shit.
I know.
So it's all right.
Oh my gosh. I don't feel that old.
That's a goddamn Australian Adonis.
I don't know about you, but I don't feel like that amount of time has passed.
I feel 80 some days because my body creaks and aches a lot. But
right.
But I've done a lot of things I shouldn't over the years, so it's kind of...
Well...
But yeah. But no, there's sometimes it's I had to stop and realize, man, I am 30. I feel old. But on the topic of the movies, TV shows, and all that, yeah, I really like the third season of Arrow so far. Flash is great.
Have you caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Oh, hell yeah, I keep track of that.
Good man, good man.
That's doing good too. With Flash and Arrow, if I remember correctly, an article I read said that by when episode 8 comes around, both shows are actually going to have a crossover episode.
Oh,
so
nice.
Arrow and Flash are going to be working together for, one episode of Flash, one episode of Arrow on doing whatever. So,
okay.
And I don't know if you've gotten into Arrow at all.
No.
All right.
I don't know. I've seen previews. I've thought about clicking on it, and I'm like...
All right, well... I'm going to go ahead and do a spoiler here, and if you don't like it, well, tough shit, man. It's been 3 weeks. If you haven't watched the first episode now, I don't care.
He's got a point.
At the end of the first... Okay, you've got Arrow. You've got, the character Arrow, or Oliver Queen. You've got his old girlfriend, Laurel Lance. Then there's her sister, Sarah Lance, who... at the beginning of the Arrow series, it's, you find out, Oliver has been, lost for 5 years, and he's just finally been able to actually come back home for the first time in 5 years, and that's when he starts becoming the Arrow. And, but, you also find out that, looks like we got trick-or-treaters trying to come up. I'll leave you to take care of that.
Oh. Hello? I'm sorry, we're not doing that. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Were the costumes good?
Yeah, they were. Dude, we should have just had our camera.
Yeah, no.
It would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been.
No. And, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to leave that part in there.
Yeah, that's funny. And so anyway, where was I before that happened? Some of the hazards of having your studio at home, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I wasn't paying attention. That's why, they're like, turn off the switch. I'm like,
right.
I will, but I was charging the battery.
Right. So, but yeah, so, where was I? I forget. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Arrow. Anyway, you also find out that at the beginning of Arrow that, Oliver Arrow, his girlfriend, he went on the little ship ride with his girlfriend's sister instead. And they were kind of fooling around on the side. And she was thought to have been lost and dead completely. Well, you find out that she actually reappears at some point on the island with Oliver before he comes back as Arrow and all that. And then she's thought to be dead again. So basically, this girl just ain't dying. Because eventually she comes back and, makes it back to Starling City, where, it's, fictional city where the series takes place. and she's back as her own superhero character, the Black Canary. Anyway, so she pops in and out pretty much during the second season. She's not in the first one at all, I don't think. So, but she pops in and out a lot during the second series. There was a few episode stint where, she was part of Team Arrow, and then decided to leave and go back with the League of Assassins, so that they'd stop trying to chase her down to get her to come back. Because she was also kind of in a relationship with the daughter of the head of the League of Assassins. She was bi, which was awesome. Oh. But she was one of my favorite characters in the series. And
of course.
No, not just for that.
Oh.
I mean, I just thought it was cool because she was like the first real other hero that they brought in from the DC universe. Like, they've had some of the villains and all that. Some of them, their names that I recognize. But it's like, oh, this is the first one where it's like, this is a hero. Like Arrow's sidekick in the series is not in the comic books.
Really?
Yeah, he's not in the comic. It's a character that they made for the series, pretty much. So, but yeah, so I've seen some of the villains and all that, but it's like I've never actually gotten to see any other heroes until they brought in Black Canary in season 2. Well, technically they brought in Arrow's normal sidekick from the comics. Usually he goes by Speedy, but they work things around where instead Arrow's sister in the series, he had nicknamed her Speedy sometime in their past. No, not like that. So anyway,
sorry, I had to.
You're an idiot. Shut up. Anyway, so they gave her a nickname of Speedy for the series instead of actually giving it to the sidekick. So they're probably they haven't actually called him by name yet, but they're probably going to eventually call him either the sidekick, because he got introduced towards the end of the first season, had a lot going on with Team Arrow during the second season, and then by the third season he's officially part of Team Arrow. He's got his own costume, mask, and all that shit.
Sombrero.
No. Stop with the stupid jokes. Dude, no, if there's comic book fans watching right now, they are ready to stab you in the face. You're pissing off the wrong crowd, man. They will do it. They will stab you in the face with arrows just to make a point.
Arrows.
Yeah, not a pun. But anyway.
I'm sorry, guys. It's not that I'm dissing comic books or anything.
No, he just thinks he's funny, but he's not.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway.
Kind of like you? Oh.
No, there's a difference. I know I'm funny.
I know I'm funny, too.
No. I don't. No, see, I've made people laugh genuinely, and you just make people laugh because they think you're pathetic. But there's a difference. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, they haven't actually introduced the sidekick as Speedy. They're still using his real name, but at some point in the comics, he does become either the Red Arrow or Arsenal. So they're probably going to actually, from what I understand, go by calling him Arsenal for a while. Though I think Red Arrow will probably work better at this point. But he's got the whole same outfit, but it's all red and shit like that.
Cool.
But it's cool because I actually got really excited when it's like, oh, good, they're bringing in his sidekick. That's awesome. Oh wow, his sidekick is totally ended up dating his sister. That's interesting.
Oh boy.
So, but yeah. Anyway, so through all this, the Black Canary character was the first one, first real superhero that they really introduced, other than Arrow, in the series. So I actually liked her character, and she has this kind of complexity to her and all that, and trying to keep her secret from her family and let them think that she's still dead and all that. And so it's for their protection kind of thing. So her character is very complex, and I find it really interesting. Unfortunately, at the beginning of season 3, the end of the last episode, they killed her.
Ooh.
A assassin, maybe from the League of Assassins or somebody else, popped her with 3 arrows, and she fell off a roof. And then crashed down into a dumpster right in front of her fucking sister. Pretty dramatic way to do it.
Dang.
So, didn't even go out on a high note, just a nice dramatic note. But that series is good for the drama. Like, I'm not big into drama, but I love it. It's good. Like, that series is good for it, and just the right way. So anyway, they're going to be probably doing a thing now where her sister, like, I know actually they are doing a thing right now where her sister's eventually going to take on the Black Canary mantle. So it's kind of one of those things that does happen in the superhero world at all. As occasionally, this person will die, so their sidekick will take up the mantle somewhere along the line. It doesn't ever happen with like something like Batman, but you know, like Robin, you got him, but he becomes his own kind of real superhero instead of a sidekick eventually.
Yeah.
Nightwing.
Well, and then what was it? Then I read something about that Thor became a woman.
Yeah, somewhere.
And they explained it saying that the hammer was was Thor, not him. I'm like, no, that is not how that works.
Yeah,
Get it right.
Like, he was named Thor. The hammer is Mjolnir.
Yep.
No, that not only spits in the face of the original lore of the Thor comic series, but it spits in the face of the legend of Norse gods.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I mean, like me.
Like, look, I don't mind there being a female Thor.
No, I don't.
Just
mind.
as long as they didn't call her Thor. Like, there's one other character throughout the comic book series and even one of the TV shows that was able to lift Thor's hammer other than Thor. And because the character was just so pure of heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all he wanted to do was protect his people. That's what it was just straightforward, that's it. He wasn't a bad guy. He just fought whoever he thought was going to actually hurt his people.
Yep.
And so he was actually able to use Thor's hammer. It could have been the exact same story with a female Thor. This just, you know, Thor is no longer a thing anymore. Something happened. Mjolnir won't listen to him, and this girl comes along and is able to use it. And now she's like Thor, but isn't actually Thor. Like, I'm sorry, just making a woman Thor all of a sudden does not work.
No, it doesn't.
Again, it spits in the face of the comic books and original Norse mythology. It's just wrong. I don't like it.
No.
Like, again, I wouldn't have a problem if it's like, hey, look, a girl took up the mantle that Thor would normally have had.
No, that's perfectly fine.
And it's like, that'd be fine. That'd be perfectly fine.
You know, but that does... No, because Thor is Thor.
Yeah.
You know, and then, no.
Like, yeah, it's that type of thing. If they can say, you know, all they want that the hammer was Thor, like, no, like...
No.
Like, the guy in the comics, the guy in the movies, his name is Thor, not because he has the hammer, but because he is Thor, the son of Odin. That's how that works.
Well, and, you know, there's a guy at work, he's 21, you know, and him and I converse about this stuff, you know, he's as nerdy as we are.
Awesome.
And I know, right? And get them while they're young, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And
that can work for a lot of things, but yeah.
And so anyway, we were talking, and he was telling me about that, and that was the argument that I was having with him. He's like, oh, well, somehow they say that the hammer was Thor, and I'm like, dude, Thor is the son of Odin, not a hammer.
Unless they plan on somehow sucking Thor into the fucking hammer, the hammer is not Thor. The hammer is Mjolnir. It's always been called Mjolnir. In Norse mythology, in the comic book lore, the hammer is Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot just take something like that and turn it around completely when it's thanks to the Avengers series and the movies in general where Thor is involved. It is now Thor is one of the more major characters known out there. They can't just take them and change them like that.
Well, they did that in the comic book, you know, and I'm like, wait a minute.
I mean, like,
I don't even read the comics.
Yeah.
I don't.
I know it's not going to affect the movies. It's not going to affect that whatsoever because Thor is already a man in that and blah, blah, and they're actually smart. So, you know, but it's just ridiculous. I think I know there's a lot of people that were pissed off about it. There's other people like I have no problem having a female, you know, powerhouse like that. It's awesome. It's kind of like Wonder Woman. You know, Wonder Woman's pretty badass.
Right. Well, I had the guy make the argument of, Captain America died, and now Captain America's black, I think, or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I'm like that, but that's fine.
But yeah,
why?
but like the difference
why?
between
Because it's Captain America, the persona of Captain America.
It's not Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
It's Captain America, the mantle, the hero part. It's not Steve Rogers, the man. It's, I think, if he's black at this point, I think that was Falcon that might have taken up on taking the mantle. Because at some point, Falcon does take the mantle. At some point, Bucky Barnes takes the mantle, too.
Yep.
Which actually brings me to something new.
Oh, boy.
We were looking at it earlier at the Avengers 2 trailer. And first of all, that looks badass. But here's the big stink. It's not so much a stink. It's just more or less the commotion that's been going on about the future for the Avengers and their base movies and all that. Is that there's talks of actually going into the Avengers Civil War storyline. Now, I don't know. Do you actually know what their Civil War storyline is about? Okay, in the Civil War storyline, now I haven't read it, but my brother does have the comic series for it, and I'm probably gonna get it from him tonight because I want to actually read up on it and like read it, you know.
Right.
But at least the main stories. So in the Civil War storyline, at some point Tony Stark, at some point the government decides we need to start registering these superheroes and people with powers and things like that, and Tony Stark actually jumps on board with the government on that. Like Iron Man, Tony Stark, whatever you want to call him, he's actually for this registration. Captain America isn't. At that point, I'm not sure how it gets through completely, but at some point, the Avengers basically split completely. Each side starts picking up more people, Stark picks up more people to work with him to force the registration. Captain America picks up his own new group to go against it. I think it includes members like the Hulk and things like that. So like the Avengers basically split. Some go here, some go here, and then it becomes a civil war between the superheroes. Which I'm not sure if this actually ends it, but at some point within the Civil War storyline, Captain America dies. And so, if they're going with the Civil War storyline, at some point Captain America probably will die. Now, if they go with the way everything went with the normal Captain America comic books, eventually he's brought back to life. Because it's a comic book, you can do that. Well, if you think about the Marvel Universe and all the things that they actually have existing in it, and the fact that there is things like magic because of like Doctor Strange and all that stuff.
True.
So there's multiple different galaxies, there's multiple different dimensions, and there's all sorts of different weird people out in the world in the Marvel Universe. Even without, even like in the actual Avengers version in the movies right now, even without stuff like the X-Men, there's still all kinds of weirdos out there.
Yep.
So that's a thing. Now, so Captain America will come back. Now the way, from what I've understood thus far, this is all subject to change really, but the way I've understood things thus far is, I know the guy who plays Captain America, he's signed on for a few more movies right now, and he hasn't signed a new contract. He's still on his original contract for a few more movies. So there's going to be, after the second Avengers movie, there's obviously going to be a third Captain America movie that's really going to kick off the actual Civil War storyline.
Okay.
Now, here's the fun part. Originally, Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to be in there as Tony Stark, Iron Man, all that, for a very, small role in there, somewhere along the line. He was going to be there. Now, but apparently, Robert Downey Jr. and the director, Josh Whedon, I think it was, or one of those, guys that actually deals with movies, wanted the Stark character to be in there more. So there was some arguments between them and Disney and all that, and they said, you know what, fine, we're just taking you out completely. And then eventually, they didn't give up, so they came back at Disney, and it's like, well, look, what if we do, here's a revision of the script, pretty much. What if we do it like this? Oh. And so now Iron Man is going to be a major part of Captain America 3, which will probably in turn start the Civil War storyline at some point.
Oh, that makes that makes sense. Then why he would be a major part in
because
Captain America 3.
because for the most part it's Captain America's team versus Iron Man's team against each other.
Yeah.
So so it's kind of there's a build up for that. Let's see. I know we'll be expecting a. Oh no! Wait, no. Oh, I was talking about Captain America's movies. So that's number 3. I don't know where everything is going to take place. I know there's several different Marvel movies that are coming out between Avengers 2 and Avengers 3. But at this moment, Captain America is not slated to be in the third Avengers movie, which leads to where Captain America could have a 4th movie where somebody tries to bring him back to life finally, kind of thing. So like if he does die, along the lines, which if they go to the T as much as they can with the Civil War story, Captain America will die. Then he'll eventually come back to life. So he can die. He'll probably die between the second and third Avengers movie, somewhere in there. Where, I don't know, because I don't know what all movies are going to be out exactly. And then it'll be third Avengers movie, which I've also heard that a lot of the main Avengers may not even be in. They might be basically using the B team, pretty much, of Avengers, which some of them are still cool. But but
the B team.
Yeah. But then it'll be probably another Captain America movie after that where they probably bring it back to life. Or some other joint movie they might have. So, I don't know. Again, there's, you only can find out so much. Like, they've got stuff planned, like, all the way to 2020 right now for the different movies.
And Iron Man 4.
Right. I do believe there's supposed to be an Iron Man 4
That's
at some
what
point.
I was hearing.
So, but yeah, so there's a lot of movies that come in there. Then we've got, what is it? There's, we've got DC movies coming out too. I know they're working on, we've got the Batman vs. Superman movie coming out at some point.
Yeah, that's going to be...
That's going to be interesting, I think, and they're also going to have, from what I've understood, from what I've seen, they're going to be having Wonder Woman in there somewhere.
Oh, nice.
Which would be cool. Gal Gadot is playing that. She plays in the last couple Fast and Furious movies. Mm-hmm. She's the one that basically got thrown off the car in the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but she's supposed to be playing Wonder Woman, and apparently, from what I've seen, Aquaman might be in the movie too somewhere. Now we're not talking old school Aquaman. We're talking like the newer age, badass looking Aquaman. Like in some of the cartoons and comic books, he was rocking a fucking hook for a hand.
Right.
And it's actually really muscular, shirtless, long beard, long thick beard, long hair. He looked badass. So, not the gay-looking old Aquaman. But, here's the part that actually interests me. And you might like this too. It's the guy who they actually have slated for Aquaman in all the movies. The guy that played Ronan from Stargate Atlantis?
No.
Jason Momoa, he's slated for Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
Now, also...
he played a badass in that show, dude.
Yeah. So, ironically, his next real big movie is going to be those, but he's also going to have his own movie. Aquaman's going to get his own movie at some point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In a few years. But ironically enough, Jason Momoa's first real acting job that actually gave him anything was playing the character of Jason in Baywatch. Like, he's gone from Baywatch to Aquaman. He hasn't changed
I didn't
much.
even know he was in Baywatch.
Yeah. So, but he's gone from Baywatch to Aquaman. Like, that's kind of neat and horrible, and I think he might have downgraded a bit by being Aquaman, but yeah. So DC's got their own plans for, Series 2, like Marvel has the Avengers, DC's answer to that is the Justice League.
Yeah.
So, they're working towards the Justice League movie, too. They're gonna, the Justice League movie...
Really?
They're going to have a 2-part kind of movie, it's like they're going to be building the Justice League, fighting the villain, blah, blah, whatever. So there's going to be like 2 Justice League movies slated so far. Which will be cool, because I like Justice League. There's some interesting stuff,
Right.
It's like the Avengers. You get all these cool superheroes together. There will be a Flash movie at some point later on, probably before the Justice League movies come out.
Nice.
Well, there will be a new Green Lantern movie that'll be out at some point. I thought The Rock was supposed to be in that one, but I'm wrong. He's actually going to be in the Shazam movie.
Shazam?
Well, no, not Shazam. Oh God, what the fuck is the guy's name? Give me a second here, I'll look it up. Again, I'm not the biggest with DC. I'm a Marvel guy.
He knows more about DC than me.
Yeah, but
I know Batman, Superman, and
now the Flash.
And the Flash. See, and I didn't even know the Flash was DC. I thought the Flash was Marvel.
Nope.
So
DC.
right now people have heard me say that, and now they're going, "We want to kill you."
Well, no, I think they can understand that much at least. Like, not everybody really knows the comics and all that, so.
It's...
My brother has always been big into comic books, but especially so the last few years. So, I pick up on some of the stuff.
Right.
Like one of the things I'm really happy about from Marvel, except that it's going to be through, it's going to be a property taken up by Fox, I think, is it's not been on the internet well, that they are officially coming out with a Deadpool movie. There's been all sorts of back and forth about it over the past couple years, and finally, the person who was originally slated to be the director a few years ago, and Ryan Reynolds, who played Wade Wilson in the Wolverine origin movie, they actually had worked with some people to put together their own test footage for a Deadpool. It's basically a trailer of sorts for a Deadpool movie, unofficial. And then Fox decided, oh well, damn, that actually got a lot of popularity all of a sudden. And they're like, all right, fine, we get the hint. We will go back to a Deadpool movie, which is cool because Deadpool is also one of my favorite Marvel characters. So, kind of happy about that. But yeah, so the DC Universe, they've got a lot of stuff planned out too. They're going to have a Suicide Squad movie. The Suicide Squad is actually something that has been introduced in the Arrow series at this point, too. The Suicide Squad is basically a bunch of villains that had been caught and turned over to a group called Argus in the DC Universe. They're a special military group and all that. And Argus, turns them into their own, task force kind of thing. Like, if these guys do these jobs and all that, then they can eventually earn their freedom to go back out and do whatever they want, and probably end up back in jail again. But
I'm sure.
Yeah. So like they've introduced Argus and the Suicide Squad in Arrow. They introduced them in season 2. With some of the villains that Arrow and his team have brought down and all that. And so but that's pretty cool. I didn't expect them to actually get their own mission, and members of that group have changed out over the years, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway, in the Shazam movie, I think it's Shazam. I really don't know. I gotta look up The Rock here, because The Rock is supposed to be in it as the villain. So, which.
The Rock playing a villain.
Yeah, the villain is Captain Adam. Black Adam is the guy's name. So, not one of my, all-time favorite series. But like basically, oh god, where is it? Come on, all filmography, because this works. Movie's called Shazam. That won't be out until 2019 still, but The Rock will be playing Black Adam, which is basically Shazam's major counterpart. Shazam originally was named Captain Marvel, but DC got sued by Marvel over that name, so they had to change him to Shazam.
Wait, they sued what?
Marvel sued DC over the name of the character, which was Captain Marvel. It had the word Marvel in it. Well,
Yeah.
They were basically sticking it to him, like, nah, fuck you guys. You're not taking Captain Marvel. So because it has Marvel in it and you're our rivals, we can't let you.
That we're not gonna makes sense.
We're not gonna come out with Captain DC. So fuck you. So they had to change.
And recording.
And hey, what's up, folks? Sorry about that. We had a malfunction. So
malfunctions are fun, except that one.
Except when we're working. So malfunction happens. Anyway, I was in the middle of explaining why DC got sued by Marvel 1.0 because they DC made the character Captain Marvel, who's now known as Shazam. They got sued because Marvel was like, hey, we don't want you guys having a character that actually has the word Marvel in his name because that's us.
Right.
We don't want you to have that. Also,
that's
Marvel does have a character named Miss Marvel. So, who's actually as strong as the Hulk?
Oh boy.
And hot. And blonde. So.
Oh boy.
Actually, I think they're planning on trying to, the third Avengers movie. I explained it all, but it turned out that the cameras also missed a lot. So, I'll go into more detail next time about what Marvel has planned for stuff.
Well,
but now I just want to say that
you can do what you missed.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna need one of the cards for that though, but.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you?
Yeah. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll just say that there's a chance of the third Avengers movie being basically the Avengers B team, probably being led by someone like Miss Marvel. So I'd love to see who they get to play her. Nice buxom blonde and tight outfit.
Ooh boy.
It's kind of like a one-piece swimsuit, that kind of outfit. You're riding up on that Crocs, like, whoa. So... But yeah, so we've talked enough about that, and we missed plenty. So I'll do what I can. If I don't get around to being able to actually do anything about doing an extra video talking about it, then I will see about bringing it up on the next podcast more. Hopefully by then we'll even have more information about what Marvel's doing with their movies. So, and I have to watch the entire podcast to see how much I got into it and what we've actually missed. So I'm going to stop with that right there. You had some things you want to talk about?
This actually is, news. Actually, it was, yesterday, I believe. Let me see, was today. I am wrong, not yesterday. It was, from the 22nd or 23rd.
So earlier this week.
Yeah, earlier this week. The guy who co-founded the Weather Channel came out and said that it's global warming isn't man-made. And I mean, scientists are kind of agreeing with this after they point out the things I've already noticed. Water level isn't rising like how they say it is, that it's actually cooling off, not warming up. I mean, look at the winters we're starting to have around here. I mean, I haven't seen winters like this since we were kids.
We're in fall right now, and it still keeps hitting 70s every so often.
Yeah, I mean, when winter comes around, though, it's gonna hit hard.
Oh, hell yeah. It's gonna suck.
Yep. That's right, though.
You know what I want to do?
What?
I'm sorry, this isn't really news related, but I'd love to find that nice girl that doesn't like to go out during winter as much as I don't, and we could just, stay home and cuddle all winter. Fucking hibernate the entire time, I don't want to go out. Me either. Let's stay in. Okay, girl up under the blankets, go back to sleep.
I just need that all around nerd chick that really, I don't know,
I just need a girlfriend.
I actually know where I want to go with this, but.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, so that's actually interesting. Is somebody actually has declared that global warming is not man-made, which I find hilarious, and fuck you, Greenpeace.
Yeah, well, yeah,
like,
and
like,
well,
seriously.
well, and like they were even saying that, you know, like even the polar ice caps, they aren't melting. They're actually gaining ice.
I didn't know that, but I figured as much. Look,
I mean,
most of the shit that people talk about bringing up global warming, I'd like to point out a good point. Something that I learned about a few years ago, actually, from a show I used to watch on Showtime. Believe it or not, it was called Penn and Teller's Bullshit. And
I remember that.
They talked about things like this. They called bullshit on a lot of things. It lasted like 5 or 6 seasons. It was a great show, really. But one of the things they talked about was they brought up an article from Time Magazine from back in the 80s, I think it was, or the 70s, something like that. And they talked about how, this article explained all the same things that we're supposed to have been going on nowadays, pretty much, that's causing global warming. Only back in the 80s, it was causing global cooling. Like, seriously?
Seriously.
This stuff is causing global warming. Well, guess what? Like 30, 40 years ago, it was causing global cooling. How can it do that?
Well,
and then people just got lazy after a point and called it global climate change so that they didn't have to explain it. Because global climate change is a natural function.
And
the climate changes.
And that's what the guy basically said. He's like, it's just what the Earth does naturally. It's not anything we have done or not done. It's
I just think it was
natural.
I just think it was a complete bitch factor of them just saying, oh, it's just turned to global climate change. Like, dude, you just made it sound normal. It's what already happens.
It's called weather, people.
It's called nature. It's called, you guys are bitches. Like,
well, and do you know what? Do you know that and I read about this a little while ago, and I can't remember whether I talked about it or not. But
it's possible, we talk a lot.
I know, right? But they have actually talked about putting carbon emission blockages or caps or whatever in the U.S. So, like, you can only do so... Yeah, I know, right? Here's the thing. Bill Gates talked a while back at a TED Talk, right? He wanted, I don't know if he still is, but wanted to put, like, it was basically a storage tank underground that you would put CO2 into. I'm going... Them things rupture. The worst thing you're gonna get from that CO2 is, is like flourishing trees, more oxygen. Here's the thing. CO2 emissions, trees, grass, any plant like that, it eats CO2.
Yeah.
So
it's called photosynthesis.
Yes. And guess what? That is part of nature.
Yeah. See, it's kind of the whole thing. It's kind of like the stupid carbon credit bullshit that people have done over the years.
Yeah.
Since they started getting all green friendly and all that stupid shit. Like, look, I love Mother Nature. I love nature in general. It's neat. One of my dreams growing up as a kid was I wanted to be like a photographer for National Geographic, so I could go around the world and just take pictures of nature because it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just people out there that are so stupid and think that they're doing this little thing, like the carbon credit system. It's like, oh, they drive their, big ass soccer mom SUV and shit like that, and then they go home after trip going around the town all day and emitting plenty of CO2, and then they trust themselves to give a random website money that will take away what they've done. Like, it's a stupid way to make themselves feel better, basically, is they go and pay some random website money to say, okay, you're paying for the carbon emission that you just had. What good does that do?
Okay. People, if you want a carbon credit, plant a tree.
It gets worse. The first time I ever saw something about that, I think it was on the Penn and Teller Bullshit Show. One of the people that did stuff like that was Al Gore. Because he's a brilliant man.
Yeah. Double tap.
So, the only problem is every time he'd pay a carbon credit, he'd be paying it to his own website. There was another lady that they were talking with on the show, too, who ran one of those carbon credit websites. And every time she'd go and buy or pay for carbon credits, she'd be paying her own website.
Yeah.
It's like,
wow.
The bitch is paying herself to make herself feel better about driving her big-ass soccer mom SUV. That's retarded. Like, that shit's just beyond 5 shades of stupid.
Okay, people. If you want to make yourself feel better, you gotta get rid of your...
Plant some flowers.
Or do the other smart thing and buy an electric car. I guarantee you, electric car, for the amount of driving most people do, including me, I drive 20 miles one way going to work. Okay? I am confident that if I had a normal electric car, all I'd have to do is drive it, come home, charge it.
Yep.
You know, and if I could afford it, I'd actually have one. Why? Not because I give a damn about the environment. I'm sorry if I've offended people, but it's what we do.
It's kind of why we're here.
It is. But I think they're cool as hell. I think that over 130 years ago, we should have been using electric and hydrogen and things like that because we have the technology. The only reason why we don't is because gasoline at the time was cheaper.
Yeah, at the time.
At the time.
Prices are going down, but...
In the late 1800s, okay, we're talking like 1890s. That's when it was cheap, okay? And then Ford comes around and he comes out with different designs of his combustion engine, which great. You know, we're able to travel distances that, you know, we weren't able to travel in the amount of time we do it in on foot. Awesome. But guess what? We could run a car on pure alcohol, on pure ethanol. I talked to a guy at work, you know, he bought a go-kart. He made the thing run on alcohol.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Anyway.
What else you got?
Gun shoots. I can't talk. Nebraska school okays firearms in senior year photos. I actually think that's cool.
Indifferent.
Well, I mean, think about it though. The community that we live in, it sounds about like how this is, where hunting and all that is kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of why I'm indifferent. It's like, yeah, that's, fine, but, like, it's not necessary.
No, but here's the thing, though, is that it's kind of a form of discrimination if which I'm not, but if I was into hunting, you got people posing with footballs, with this and that and the other thing, but for you to say, no, you can't have a picture of
now,
you with your gun, like...
Let's get specific on this one real quick,
okay.
Right? I can understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is entirely irrelevant if there's no hunting club. If you have people that are posing with footballs because they're on the football team, people posing with basketballs because they're on the basketball team, with a chess set because they're on the chess team, relevant to have those in the pictures. If there's no hunting club, it is irrelevant for you to be posing with a rifle in your hand for a picture. At that point, there is no necessary reason for it. You just want to act cool by having a rifle in your hands. That's all in a picture. That's all there is to it at that point. So, other than that, but if that's what they want to do, I have no problem with it. It's fine as long as they're being safe and everything. Then all is well.
Oh yeah. Well, in fact, they even said, as long as it's a tasteful picture,
Right.
And
like,
not pointing at the camera and stupid shit like
don't
that.
shove a loaded gun up your asshole.
Right, pretty much.
And
you
that's
know,
fine. So.
But the reason why I think it's cool is because you got all these gun-hating people.
Right.
You know, go, oh, guns are so dangerous, blah 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 blah. And it's like,
yeah, they are in the wrong hands.
Yeah, in the wrong hands.
Like,
guess
don't
what?
put a gun
the
in
gun
the hand of a child.
that just makes the person dangerous because they have a tool. That's like me coming after you with a air nailer. You know, no, what is it used for? For putting stuff like wood together. A framing nailer is used to frame houses and buildings and things like that. You make walls with 2x4s and things like that. But guess what? A safety can be disabled.
Yeah.
But anyway.
When it comes to it, the whole, you know, gun laws and all that, I'm indifferent. I don't care. Nobody's ever actually pulled a gun on me, and I've never done the same to them. Real guns, at least, airsoft, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, I live in a small town where a lot of people have guns, but nobody's ever really used them on other people in this town. So I'm really indifferent. It's because we've, you know, had it good around here for that sake. So I really don't care. I know guns are a thing now, you know, concealed carry is a thing here in Illinois now, but I'm not gonna run out and buy a gun because I don't care to have one.
And now me, I'm not gonna go out and buy a gun because I'll probably inherit a few.
Right, you don't really need a gun. You'll shoot yourself in the foot.
No.
No, I honestly believe you will. You'll shoot your eye out. The only problem with shooting your eye with a real gun is, you know, it goes through. Which solves the problem at that point. If you're going to be looking down a barrel and then pull the trigger, you deserve what you get. Pretty much. So, yeah. But so again, I'm indifferent. Do I want to go out to a shooting range sometimes? Sure, it could be fun. It's more of an option to go hang out with friends and then fire up a gun because I'm a man, damn it.
Damn straight.
But will I buy a gun? Probably not. Not unless the business does really good for us, and I feel like I might need one just for the safety's sake. Because, you know, if you get rich and you're going to want a gun, let's face it.
Yeah.
Because people are assholes.
Anyway.
But even then, I don't know. So
that's all I got for... Oh, I forgot. We're running out of memory, I think. But I'm going to... Or, not memory. Battery.
Probably.
But Ebola is apparently a thing.
It's big going on in Africa right now. It's all the rage. All the kids are getting it these days.
Well, I guess there's 3 people in Louisiana, 1 person in New Jersey, 1 person in New York who's getting better. Texas, obviously, she's well. But what's really cool is they're hoping to use the antibodies from 1 person to try and synthesize an antidote.
That could be good.
So that's really why I bring it up, because it's a thing. I think people are not going to work because of it and things like that. I
think there's a lot of people freaking out about it, like too much here in the States right now for no good reason, really. I mean, yes, we've got a little bit in the States, but it's like I don't imagine that it's going to hit around here.
Yeah.
And if it does, whatever, I don't care. But that's just me. If Ebola hits me and kills me, I'm not lucky enough to fucking die from it, so I'll just suffer and then be alright. That's pretty much how that
Probably.
That is pretty much how that
Man, that was the most horrible flu I've ever had in my life.
Like, I started bleeding from my eyes. Weird. Should you go to the doctors? Probably. But no, I didn't.
Stubborn.
Careless is
That
more
too.
like it. Like, I don't give a shit.
We'll be walking in your house with the ultraviolet robot, killing all the disease infested and whatever. And
picking up stains on my bed.
yeah, and that too.
Not all mine.
Probably not.
I have pets, don't I?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Sweet Jesus on a cracker. You people are nasty. Alright, let us do... Let's see what's on Reddit real quick. Might be able to get at least one shot off here.
Maybe.
Maybe. If this will just learn to load. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on.
Your carrier's running slow.
Apparently. Alright, no Reddit tonight. Sorry, guys.
Maybe next time. Hopefully next time.